Filmmaking is a very detail-oriented medium. It's like you have to like really focus and then do it step by step, like really focus and not get distracted from anything, so you can make a lot of mistake. And then it's like a part is like experiment too. It's like you never know what you're gonna get. Every single print is gonna be a little different. I am a Vietnamese printmaker based in Mankato, Minnesota, and I make woodcut print. My focus is on Vietnamese culture and American culture. When I spent the last 7.5 years, I try to blend the two cultures together just to share my life experiences here and also the history of Vietnam and the customs. When we talk about Vietnam, like a lot of people are gonna think about the Vietnam War. And then I feel like it's a little limit. So I want to share like the good part, the beautiful part of Vietnam, like what we have. I'm from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and it is in the south of Vietnam. It's formerly named Saigon. We have a lot of mountains, the Mekong Delta River. My family lives in the area that like we have endless rice field and lotus field. Also, lotus is our national flower as well, so that's pretty to me. So I wanted to study abroad, and I decided I wanted to go to Japan. And then my family said, let's make a deal. Like if you can survive in the US for the 1 year, then we will let you decide whatever you want to do. So they didn't want to fund for me to go to Japan. I wasn't into it. I just hated that idea, but now I can appreciate that I'm here. I arrived to the US and then I went straight to Mankato. So it was December of 2015 and it was winter. So my first ever winter in my life. It's just different. Like in my home country, it's like 90 degrees all year long. So it's like it's like more like exciting to me. It's like, oh, it's not hot anymore. It's good. This is one of my very early prints when I first started. It's called Trapped in the Cheese. At the time, I couldn't find any food that without cheese, unless I asked for it. It's like, why cheese everywhere? It's like, you know. And it's like a cheese tray. It's very, I don't know, it's just so American. So yeah. You see here, this is the Vietnamese figure with the traditional clothing. And the hat is the Vietnamese coffee fin filter that we use to make like single-use coffee. And the hat is a traditional hat. I came here for a totally different degree. I was going for biology with a minor in graphic design. I grew up in the family of business and science. Like art is like no. You gotta be, I don't know, a banker, a business woman, or a scientist. Like we don't do art here. Art's like wasting time. And then I took my first printmaking class like the second semester, and then I fell in love, and then I just like switched completely to printmaking. And now it's become an artist. I'm not sure about like all of the like younger family now, but like to my family, we a little conservative, and my mom has a lot of thing to do with my personal life, and that's why I got so frustrated, and then I decided to like go away. Now it's like they got used to it too, so they had to deal with me my way. Say I have my own life. That's what I like about the U.S. and that I being like so far away from home that they will care about me, but like in a more like relaxed way. It took them a while to like really like kind of start to understand what I'm doing. Like I explained to my mom like anytime I call her, and it's like and she's like, I don't get it. Why are you doing it? Why printmaking? Why art? So I think I always have that soft spot for Vietnam. I'm afraid of like if I ever visit home and then I don't want to come back here. I miss the people on the street. I miss all the street foods, and I miss my family as well. I grew up pretty Western-ish, and then I wasn't really into like Vietnamese culture at all back in the days. And then it's like when I came here, then people keep asking me about, oh, how's Vietnam and what do you have there? And I'm like, oh, I don't really know. So that's like I think being here like making me finding my root. I'm just like been doing a lot of research about Vietnamese culture and then what we have in the past. There's different methods in printmaking. We have woodcut, we have screen printing, we have lithography, and etching intaglio. But I specifically really into woodcut. I'm not sure why. It's very ancient techniques. It's so easy to make. You can make it anywhere. You don't really need a fancy tool to do that. And I'm really curious about like what people did in the past, like 1,000 years ago. Like how do people spread the words? How do they share information? We have a woodcut village in the northern of Vietnam, and I would love to like learn more about that and then try to like bring it back. Woodcut is like the closest way to do that. And then woodcut it's not hard. It's just like take a lot of time to make one. For a big block like 2 by 4 feet. If I like really work on it, like if I'm not like distracted from anything else, I just like work every day, maybe a month or two. After carving the block, the next process gonna be printing. Usually I just like prepare all of the ink and roll the slab and just like ink it up the block. If the studio have like the big enough press for the big block, then I can run it through the press. I don't have that access here in Mankato, so I usually like hand print it. I'm not a big talker, so like I think a lot, but I'm quiet and I don't talk a lot. Like I don't really talk about my emotions. Sometimes it's also a lot. So like I put them into my work. I try to make it look like playful, but there's educational stuff going on. Like I want to teach people about the culture, and then if they like recognize my story, then that's good. If not, that's fine too. It's like if they appreciate the print, the playfulness is totally fine. That's great. So this is one of my favorite prints ever. I got inspiration from a picture of my mom when she was pretty young, and I made it print in 2020 when the COVID hit, and at the time I felt very confused and then a lot of anxiety. It was like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like what if I couldn't make it? What if my mom couldn't make it? And then I had that like nightmares. I don't know, or a dream that my mom study abroad instead of me. So I made the prints and then with Mankato Tower, water tower, that I really love to see all the time. To me, like in the U.S., all of the water towers there's name on it. It's very unique. Like we don't have that in Vietnam. So we have water tower, we don't have name on the water tower. To me, that's a very cool thing. So yeah. I sent it to my mom, the picture to my mom, and she loved this. Like, oh, that's what you're doing. Okay, I gotta get it now. Blah blah blah. You know. There's no single day that I feel like I want to do something else. Like I would define like falling in love. I can drop anything else to do print. You ask me to go out, I'm just like, sorry, I'm working on my blog. It's like there's no. I was like, I'm so into it. I never felt like that before. I feel like it's a very, what's the word for it? A blast. Like to finally found like what I really love. It's just very tough journey, but it's all good. So I learn a lot and I grow a lot through prints.
Postcards is made possible by the Minnesota